calling upon them, especially Ugandans, to contribute to solving the unsolved cold-blood murder of Isma Oleksi's by sending in any suspicion and circumstantial evidence and leads and allegations that you suspect might have led to the cold murder of the president of Uganda Blogger Association, Isma Oleksi's. Please send it to Uganda Criminal Investigation Intelligence Bureaus and let them digest it and help solve this brutal crime. Just like unsolved murder crimes across the world, the government's Crime Investigations Bureau departments always appeal to the general public to pass on any suspicious information, suspicious acts, or any allegations acts seen prior to the crime suffered by the victim that might help them to follow the leads to solve the crime. That is why this organization, the Expose Bullies Against Women Advocates, has assembled allegations in this video to be sent to the Uganda Police Criminal Investigations Division Department to digest it together with any other information they may have to see if has any leads to help out solve this crime. Be mindful that the entire complete section of the blogger's provocations against Bobi Wine and his family stands at the very end of this allegation video. Once again, we urge and appeal to the public to help the Uganda Police Crime Investigation Division with information to solve this cold murder crime of Isma Oleksi's, so that justice might prevail on behalf of his family. Thank you.
Genocide takes place in front of our eyes. When humanity...
We probably could have saved 300,000 of those people's lives. It had an enduring impact on me.
In the most horrific way. But humanitarian aid has its...
Our goal is to bring to light those who are allegedly suspected, according to circumstantial conflict evidence, of ordering the assassination of Isma Oleksi's, believing the killers were merely carrying out someone else's deadly instructions. We leave that to the Uganda police to do their part to solve this cold murder of Isma Oleksi's.
Kalimbalimba ate kati tugenda kukuwa tuyingire ne mufamily ngenda okuyingira mbyenda tomanyi genda owandiikire taatawo Kiihura owandiikire Tumwine ne Museveni oba ogamba be basiba abaana babate oba bali bataatabo ne lukera okwetuuza mu bannaalo Lumbega abaana babandi bonna bafudde lukera kwesiyayo taayi Igwe ne papeti wo Bobi Wine Gasiya ne Kalooya Katana mugende munzite oba munzita bonna mbadde mutteyo ku Busaabala beach ne bagulawo sigala yagulire wa babi njakola ate teyage timu mwamuyamba yali azzeemu olabika ngenda nobate mukambwe nnyo simanyi mbulooya Katana nze naakalaba bulooyo oli bulooya we waffe waakalya musirayisima muganda bugamba ku nnyoko mbadde mutteyo ku Busaabala beach ne bagulawo sigala yagulire wa babi njakola ate teyage timu mwamuyamba yali azzeemu olabika.
What happens when crimes against humanity...
The president of the Uganda Blogger Association in Uganda, Isma Oleksi's, and an intelligence security informer, was the funniest, most beloved, and most viewed blogger for information on all topics, such as entertainment, sports, and politics. Once upon a time, he exposed Bobi Wine's hypocrisy for bribing his way into the Ivy Kasubi University for his son. Yet he received a grade of F-14 points. We do not condone the blogger insulting Bobi Wine's son and wife. Yes, he is guilty of crossing the red line, which is forbidden in politics, to never engage the families of your opponents. Rather, stay focused on the opponent, which is a fair game. Nevertheless, no one has the authority to take matters and laws of justice in his own hands. On this note, as an organization, we present these allegations to be looked into by the Uganda Criminal Bureau to see if there is any circumstantial evidence that might help with the investigations. During those days of insult on Bobi Wine and his family, Bobi Wine and his diaspora's notorious bully and goon for hire, Robert Mugisha, alias Kabuye Boston, saw it as crossing the red line attack on his family. Yet, previously, the blogger had publicly abused Bobi's wife too, taking it as a hobby. And when Kabuye Boston came out in defense, the blogger doubled down and also went toe-to-toe against his goon Robert Mugisha, alias Robert Kabuye Boston, proclaiming that he has HIV/AIDS just as he presented the photo's evidence, which also Robert Mugisha Kabuye Boston published.
Chovola wanga abana bo balina obuso bulinga butuli bwa ddiba ngero obunywedde enjaga omwana wo talina kyayinza kukola ku ssomero okuggyako nnyo enjaga tolimba bantu
ne kati yaluggulidde gye luggalira. I'm called Kabuye Boston, USA. Salute.
wabula olunaku olwo you idiots mbanopo mbusimanyi diaspora chaputa okumanya muli idiot ate ne mulonda abalwadde basirimu mbuno yakulira chaputa n'akanula agaasa nawe jangolope wangamba nina sirimu njagalo kiddamu oyina sirimu yakukyovola bangwa weetakula obulago bwonna ne buyubuka wafuna oli owafire lutaaya omukambwe era senga tewamuyina senga tekyakuluma naye ninze kooti empite tempita kooti tempitanga nze nkyaddamu nti oyina sirimu owafire lutaaya kyovola batosaa kuva mu Amerika bw'oba oyagala va mu Amerika ojje wano olaba eddagala teriikubule kapere namulinda ku airport teyalabika.
The bully called on the blogger's lawyer, Honorable Mohammed Nsareko, to represent him against Isma, his client. One lawyer to represent both of them. That alone looked very awkward, fishy, and suspicious, as if there was another hidden plan in mind against the blogger. But traits had to be covered because years back, Kabuye had threatened the lawyer, forbidding him from attending the Uganda conference in the USA. Now, he wanted him to represent the defendant and the plaintiff at the same time. Just as it is known that notorious goons and bullies do not appreciate any brave person standing firm against them. But this time, Kabuye found his match, the master of bullies. Despite both sides fuming fire back and forth, the Uganda blogger did not back down and claimed that he knew Robert Kabuye as his OB. Robert Kabuye threatened that he would not take his nonsense. Nevertheless, Uganda blogger underestimated the background of Robert Mugisha, alias Robert Kabuye Boston, which is that he has innocent people's blood murdered on his hands in the Luwelo Triangle of Uganda during the war. He literally and physically participated in the massacre of more than 500,000 Ugandans in the Luwero Triangle War under the known undisciplined, untouchable military officer commander, the late Major Drago Nyanzi, who also had lots of innocent people murdered in cold blood on his hands in the same Luwelo Triangle and also that of northern Uganda. My history is that I was once a guerrilla war rebel. Many of you may not know about it. I was working in the Intelligence Bureau under the command of Commander Drago Nyanzi, and we were not given a number because that unit was considered so dangerous. I used to use many names. Some people are aware of some, and that is why some call me Rwandese. Anyway, I do not want to go into it much due to the much pain I suffered built in me due to the fact that I know too much. By the way, President Bobi Wine knows me. I have had a relationship with Bobi Wine before he engaged himself in politics, and I don't want to talk too much about our relationship with him because some of you may take it that he favors me more than the rest. Let me tell you this. I am not trying to be proud, but it is true. I have the power, and I can destroy anything in my path and my way. I am telling it to you, and I may forgive someone, but I do not forget, and I do not lose, but I always make sure that I win. I know you are angry with my narrative. Who is Major Drago Nyanzi? He was one of the most notorious undisciplined military officers in the Uganda army who never obeyed any command from his superiors, except the president and his brother. He was unruly and used drugs, loved alcohol and women, and loved money in all ways it took to get it. For example, he had street gangs within Kampala, the capital city, who stole cars from citizens and sold them to Congo on his behalf and shared the profits. Robert Kabuye was his security escort military bodyguard. Major Drago Nyanzi used to take bribes and could go to some police stations and release alleged criminals by force on behalf of those who bribed him to do so. And in those days, people who did not have money to register their imported new cars and wanted to keep driving them in the city against the laws, which forbid such could let Major Drago Nyanzi drive them 2 to 3 days in the city in disguise that he owned them. And once returned to the owner, no police to stop them in fear of him, and those who did without knowledge of this scum and towed them to the police station, he would go and pick them up by force without suffering any consequences. This military officer was unruly. His superiors could only report him to the president, who was so smart in dealing with him without offending him by asking him to go to northern Uganda to help him fight some rebel resistance, because the dude loved to fight and always was victorious. There are so many stories of activities that violated the laws of the country by this undisciplined military officer, Major Drago Nyanzi, who groomed Robert Kabuye. But time would fail us. So that is the background tutor of the undisciplined notorious goon and bully in the diaspora for decades, Robert Mugisha, alias Kabuye Boston Monkey See, Monkey Do. Just as God told Cain in the Bible that the innocent blood of his murdered brother Abel is crying for justice, so is Robert Kabuye's life. He has never seen any success in life. The blood of innocent murdered Ugandans in the Luwelo Triangle and other alleged activities participated in with Major Drago Nyanzi cry out for justice, just as justice was served to his tutor. Back to the allegations that require the criminal investigators to look into about the alleged suspicious leads, if at all may be of any help to solve crime of the people behind the blogger's murder. Just as a known practice across the world, if there are unsolved murders, the public is asked to provide any suspicious activities about the case and leave it to the investigation to carry out its course. And that is what this organization is providing, asking to them to interrogate Bobi Wine, his inner circle friends Robert Mugisha, alias Kabuye Boston, and Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi and others in the diaspora. They have resources and the international Interpol to assist them. Before the murder and assassination in cold blood of the blogger, Robert Kabuye claimed that he was going to file a petition with the government against Uganda-leaning government bloggers who crossed the red line and attacked Bobi Wine's children. If so, Robert Kabuye, Bobi Wine's inner circle friend for decades and a member of Bobi Wine's Uganda and the USA and Canada National Unity Party and activist, who would help him draft the petition due to his lack of education. Nevertheless, when it comes to petition claims, the USA National Unity Party president, Dr. Daniel Kawuma, his personal friend, whom he serves as his political goon and bully against his political opponents, allegedly was a go-to for advice since the matter was about their political party president, Bobi Wine, and his family. Just as other petitions drafted and protests Dr. Daniel Kawuma have conducted together with Robert Kabuye Boston against the government of Uganda, a parent allegedly would help out to draft political petitions and advise where to be addressed to. Therefore, he is his right-wing man. During that same period, when going back and forth with Uganda blogger Isma on one dark night in Uganda, when he was returning to his home and as he was approaching his house, he was assassinated in cold blood by an unknown hitman for hire. What an alleged coincidence. Once again, Isma Alexis underestimated Kabuye Boston's activism experience under his belt of 2 decades and the long arms he has capable of reaching Uganda and many fellow activists across the world who believe in him and Bobi Wine and are allegedly capable of helping them and fight back against anyone or any aggressor against him and them. That was a mistake on his part, not to do his homework before getting toe-to-toe with Kabuye Boston, let alone Bobi Wine's followers, the foot soldiers labeled as hooligans, and his violent street ghetto gangsters who protect Bobi Wine against the aggressors, despite them not knowing the mystery behind and about Bobi Wine. All this information Isma Alexis overlooked. During the same period before his death, there was an investigation conducted by Bobi Wine's party leader of the opposition in the Uganda parliament and his party spokesman, Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, for crime. Greetings to Uganda's National Unity Platform, Party President, Honorable Bobi Wine, and the party's leadership officers. We hope this petition finds you all well. We are members of Expose Bullies Against Women Advocates organizations, activists, advocates for women globally, and Uganda's social and economic justice. This moment state our petition as follows. Complaints against your party engaging in corruption have been brought to our attention by many disappointed and aggrieved fellow Ugandans who allege the theft of taxpayers' money by your National Unity Platform party member, no other than the leader of the opposition, Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, alleged to have taken a bribe of 1.7 billion Uganda shillings, mudar to mudar in a labado-bado style, allegedly from the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority big bosses.
And accountability requires a bit of order even with the documents. One of the fights we've been having with you good people is the documents have not been very organized.
Million shillings, and we had to literally carry them, they could not access. So that's an issue that we want fixed. They have promised that they will fix it.
As regards whether it complies with what was provided in writing, we shall re-evaluate. But I think
the MP NTV in Entebbe,
the leader of the opposition in the Uganda parliament, and his party spokesman, Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, about corruption in the Uganda Aviation Department, and later on stalled. At that time, the investigator, Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, was accused of taking a bribe of 1.7 billion shillings to end the investigation and put it under the rug. That corruption was exposed by the president of Uganda, Bloggers Association Isma Alexis, and another Uganda investigations reporter who accused him of taking a bribe, and matters ended in a court accusation of defamation. Nevertheless, the reporter countersued Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, insisting that the allegations of taking that bribe were true, and the case is still active and open in the courts of Uganda. During that period, when Robert Kabuye was fighting the blogger received a warning and threatening phone call telling him to cease exposing the people around the aviation saga or else. Threatening phone call. Hello, is this Isma? Isma responds. Who is this? The caller continued. It is not necessary to know who I am, but what is necessary is the message I'm delivering to you, and I want you to take it seriously because this is not a joke. Isma, you work for the government. Nevertheless, I don't want you to behave like these hooligans. I have taken days seeing what you post on the internet social media platforms. I know and believe you are aware of the scandals about the Airport Aviation Authority saga. Isma responded, I know the scandals very well. The caller continued, I don't want you to continue posting about the people involved in the scandal. Those issues are now handled by prominent people who can handle them. Therefore, I am asking you to refrain from them. I do not want you to think of yourself as a hero. Isma responded. I know I will refrain myself from becoming a hero. The caller continued. It is good that you are good at listening to the counsel given to you concerning this issue. I do not want to call you again on the same issue. I hope I have made myself clear, Isma responded. I have understood the message loud and clear, despite not knowing who you are and your names. The caller continued. Major purpose is not to know who I am, but the primary issue is to receive and understand my delivered message. Isma responded, but what I posted was true, not bad. The caller responded, yes, they are good. However, ceasefire, that is my message. Isma responded that there have to be principles of checks and balances on the government institutions. The caller continued, my friend, that is my delivered message. I do not want to call you again if you can't take this warning seriously, because what will transpire then? I will not be concerned or responsible. I will do what is necessary.
My friend, ububaka bwanjye busagaranziremo kukubira ubatasobola kufunayo warning ebirara sagara kumanya so yakora ekyetaagisa.
One, in summary, was Robert Kabuye's contacting Isma's lawyer, Honorable Mohammed Nasireko, also to represent him, the same lawyer to represent the defendant and the plaintiff at the same time, which is awkward, allegedly used to cover the traits, claims that he was going for follow the laws in defense, or allegedly had other plans in mind to set up the score. 2. Was Robert Kabuye's claim to write a petition against Uganda-leaning government blogger Isma for insulting Bobi Wine's wife and children, used to cover up the trait's alleged claims approach legally? In addition, Kabuye Boston's embarrassed accusations by the blogger Ishima Alexis of suffering from HIV/AIDS, was it the beginning of a bridge-for-cover combat attack against the blogger in order to set up scores behind the scenes, but in public in disguise to paint a picture of using the courts by mentioning Honorable Mohammed Nasireko publicly as his lawyer to represent both of them in the courts of laws, in violation of regulations of conflict of interest, which in itself for sober minds was questionable. Next, is there any file in the Uganda courts, Kabuye Boston versus Ishima Alexis, that proves he was going to use the legal court system to fight the accusations? And if so, where is the proof of that? Or, in disguise, was he going to take matters of justice into his own hands? That will be left to the criminal investigators to determine, as no case was filed according to Kabuye Boston's wishes and claims. 3. Did Bobi Wine consult and advise his political goon Robert Kabuye to write a petition against the blogger in defense as a means to cover any trait suspicions? 4. Did Dr. Daniel Kawuma advise his inner circle friend and goon Robert Kabuye about the petition and whom to address it to, just like the other political petitions they had drafted in the USA against the government of Uganda and the street protests they had done together with his goon Robert Kabuye? 5. Where are the copies of the petition? 6. Did Honorable Joel Ssenyonyi, who was accused of taking a bribe from Uganda Aviation, the file case currently in the Uganda courts, advise Bobi Wine and Dr. Daniel Kawuma, their USA National Unity Platform Party president, their inner circle friend, to threaten the murdered blogger with the petition for having insulted Bobi Wine's wife and children, and the same time for having exposed the Uganda aviation corruption, of which he was accused of taking a bribe of 1.7 billion shilling as a defense against the blogger? 7. Because the blogger recorded the threats against him in the same period during fights with the diaspora's notorious goon and bully Robert Mugisha, alias Robert Kabuye Boston. We, the organization, exposes Bullies Against Women Advocates Incorporated. We asked the Uganda Criminal Investigation Bureau to look into these allegations to see if there are any leads to solving the crime of the people behind the cold-blood murder of the president of Uganda Bloggers Association, Mr. Isma Olexes. At the same time, we shall seek help from the international community to investigate the narrated subject. Our experts are going to make a petition complaint against Uganda National Resistance Movement bloggers who make videos insulting, bullying, and abusing the families and minor children of the opposition leaders, involving them in the political battles of their families. Isma responds, "I hear there is a loser, a grown-up man in America with crooked, big, ugly eyes, threatening that he shall report me and take me to court. Does your mama own Uganda's court? You idiot Kabuye Boston with big, ugly, exposed eyes. Come and report me. Come. I will stand in the court and demand that the judge order you to remove your shirt for HIV evidence around your chest and neck. Since my childhood, I have grown up knowing the HIV/AIDS symptoms, which are visible when you see a skin rash, such as a belt-like mark around the neck, and then you know that you have HIV/AIDS. You loser Kabuye, you cannot threaten me. I know you. I was in Matale Primary School and you were in the secondary school. You cannot threaten me. Look at your ugly, exposed, swollen big eyes and you claim that you are in the political struggle nonsense, Kabuye. You are sick and you are going to die of HIV/AIDS. I repeat and emphasize it. You are ill and don't dare threaten me. Come and report me. We have courts in Uganda. Honorable Mohammed Nsereko called me. He will meet me at some time. Nevertheless, I will tell him one thing. If I am not telling the truth, take me to court and let the accused of HIV/AIDS Kabuye come to court, and I will authoritatively proclaim that he has HIV/AIDS. Even before you reach the airport, your mama will have pain in her intestines. You will see what we shall do to you. Ask Kakwenza, who is in exile in Germany. That dog is in exile as a book writer. Kabuye Boston responded, political leaders' children will grow up and see such attacks of insults. So as for us, we're going to take our case here in America in the federal court suing social media platforms, and the social media platforms will look for Isma Olexes, who produced the video. If you don't know about the process, now you know. We will draft a petition starting in February and gather signatures. We need 1,000 of them, and we are going to ask the public to send in all videos of the chairman of Uganda Bloggers, who happens to be Isma Olexes, the one in the video dropping bombs on Kabuye. Kabuye continues to claim that Isma blasphemy, abuse and insult families and children of Uganda musicians, such as he insulted our political party, President Bobi Wine's family and children, and exposed our medical records. Isma responded thus, hey, Kabuye, don't puke, claiming that you will report me. Look at Kabuye's ugly big head and eyes. He is like a mouse trapped on a machine. Look at him. Kabuye is like a hyena. He has an HIV skin rash all over his neck and chest. I grew up seeing people with such skin rash around their neck, and all of them had HIV/AIDS. Look at him. Why do you scratch the skin rash around your neck? Report me. I am here. You have HIV/AIDS. Many people have taken me to court, so do the same. He threatening me by mentioning the attorney Mohammed Nsereko, puking bastard and nonsense. Kabuye Boston, take me to court, idiot. Why do you shed your skin as cobra? Kinda if you don't have HIV/AIDS, idiot. Kabuye responded that Isma defamed the political leader's children with accusations that he could not verify. This blogger takes himself very seriously because he works for the president of Uganda, his brother, and the first son, and thinks he is untouchable. Okay. Share this video requested by Kabuye, who put together this video, which incriminated him in allegations of the hit-and-run murder of this blogger. We request the Uganda CMI to investigate to see if there are any leads to the cold murder of this blogger.
Boogera medical records z'abantu ekyo kimenya amateeka
kangundi wano metenanye analaba mwana alenze ko kireza agati ogutwe ebiso bikikanuse kiringa kiri kamasu wonna wayubuka obulago olinga mondo nziramu wayubuka obulago buno bonna atenze nakulaba ndaka sirimu akube ekisipi oyina ekisipi mbulago genda ondope mu court genda wendi genda abantu banje abandopa every day jangu ondope musimanyi kinje jemba analaba alenze ko komanyoko genda ondope Ojire ebiso mu America Kabuye Boston wacho oyubuka obulago olinge mondo kya kuyubula obulago oba oli mulamu manira
bayita abantu bye batali kwagamba bo balowooza olw'okuba bali n'amagye balina Museveni muhoozi Salimu
Kabuye Boston himself authorizes the public to share his fight videos and messages with the president of the Uganda Blogger Association, Isma Alexis, on all social media platforms. Robert Mugisha, alias Kabuye Boston, addressing Honorable Mohammed Nsereko, who is a lawyer and a member of the Uganda Parliament, states thus, I saw the Uganda National Resistance Party blogger by the name Isma Alexis, who used to live in Sweden, but now in Uganda. He is your friend, and you took so many pictures with him. You are his lawyer, and you now happen to be my lawyer. Honorable Mohammed Nsereko, remember you sponsored the legislative bill on computer misuse in Parliament. Your friend Isma Alexis, the president of Uganda Bloggers Associations, produced a video published on his social media platform and circulated over social media platforms and stated that we supporters and members of Bobi Wine's National Unity Platform Party, he singled me out, particularly by mentioning my name, and said that Bobi Wine lies to the public that while in the USA he meets with the USA senator, yet instead he meets with Kabuye Boston. He continued to state that I, Kabuye, exposed my sick-skin rash chest, suffering from HIV/AIDS. Someone sent me the blogger's claim that I am suffering from HIV/AIDS. I don't know what proof he has that I have HIV/AIDS. Now, Honorable Mohammed Nsereko, I want you to be my attorney and represent me against the president of Uganda Blogger Association, Isma Alexis. Isma is your friend and his lawyer, so open up a case on my behalf so that he can bring evidence that I am suffering from HIV/AIDS. I don't take this malice against me lightly. I am serious. How did he know? There is also another Ugandan who accused me of such. Honorable Mohammed Nsereko, you are the one who sponsored the law on computer misuse. I am extremely serious. I don't play. Seriously, I will not play to take up this nonsense. I am aware that he works for General Salim Saleh, General Muhuzi, and others. I am familiar with that information. Now, Honorable Mohammed Nsereko, I want you to represent me against your client and friend to prove that I have HIV/AIDS. Does it mean that I was injected with HIV/AIDS by the USA? He has never been to the USA. So how does he know that I have HIV/AIDS? The blogger has published the accusations all over social media platforms. It is all over the social media platforms. I, Kabuye, told you we use brains, not guns. He also attacked the family of Bobi Wine with insults and once wanted people to be killed. But this time, he transpassed and opened up a Pandora's box for trouble. I am called Kabuye Boston. Salute. Then Kabuye added the remarks of the blogger video of Ishima's narrative. One day to go. You idiots of Bobi Wine's political party, the diaspora chapter. You are idiots. How can you elect into leadership position people who are suffering from HIV/AIDS, you idiots? The HIV/AIDS Kabuye is the leader of the chapter, and he deems out big, ugly eyes, expressing tantrums that I will come and take you to court, that you accused me of suffering from HIV/AIDS. Listen, loud and clearly. I want to emphasize it with authority. Kabuye, Boston, you are suffering from HIV/AIDS, grade A, the worst one, similar to that suffered by Uganda's famous musician called the late Philly Lutaya. That is why you shed your neck skin and constantly scratch it. It is accurate. And if it weren't true, it would not hurt you. Since your threats, I have waited for the courts of Uganda to summon me, but they have not. I am authoritative proclaiming the truth that Kabuye, Boston, you have HIV/AIDS, and that is the very reason you cannot leave the USA due to the medical treatment of HIV/AIDS. Dare come to Uganda and see if you won't lack the medications treatment. Since Kabuye's threats, I waited for him at the airport so that he could vindicate himself of my accusation. King Congo Kapele did not show up. No call. No show. I am about to go to the USA, and I believe I will come back without seeing him. Before Kabuye, Boston looked great, I could also have attempted to have intercourse with him. But currently, there is too much illness going on in his life. Currently, these days, this street ghetto gangster, I would be afraid of him sexually. If you do it at your own risk. Do you see that if you attempt to eat him sexually, you risk poison penetrating into you up to your bone marrow? These days, I am afraid of this street ghetto gangster. And the women presently having intercourse with him are very brave, and I fear them, for they are heartless. Because if you open up your legs, instead he can sperm you with poison. According to his looks these days, this ghetto gangster is poisonous.
Aid has its limits. What happens when crimes against humanity are committed? When a genocide takes place in front of our eyes? When humanity fails? In the most horrific way. But humanitarian aid has its limits. What happens when crimes against
We probably could have saved 300,000 of those people's lives.
And saying greetings to my brother and friend Kabuye Boston. And saying greetings to my brother and friend Kabuye Boston.
Parents should consider where to send their children to school based on their achieved grades and their level of intelligence. You cannot take your son from Magle suburbs with bad grades into Ivy universities. That is wrong and bad, especially when Bobi Wine, your son, got a grade of 14 points. Such a kid has a low IQ of intelligence and is academically stupid and silly. At his level and age, I achieved the best grade A with a 4-point average. As for your son, he is silly, stupid, and dense, and does not deserve entry into an Ivy university surrounded by intelligent kids with good grades. No, he is dense and stupid. That is why Bobi Wine, your son, could not cope with the education on campus except to do drugs. weed. Your son is dense and stupid, a failed student. If in primary 7 or grade 7 you have been graded 15 points, you are a failure. And that is it. Kisubi University is not a college to educate failures and stupid kids. And when your son got in trouble at the campus, then you came out grumbling, dressed in cheap suits. Your son was not supposed to be in that Ivy college. He mentions Ivy universities. All these Ivy universities take in intelligent students with good grades. So, since your son is stupid, he cannot couple up with intelligent students, and what he does is take drugs. He learned drugs from inside his mother's womb. The actual drugs Bobi Wine took as a musician made your sons have small eyes just like the Japanese. Small eyes just like small cowskin holes. The drugs that caused them to have small eyes got into them through their mother's womb during intercourse. Therefore, all he does is smoke weed. Do not lie to the public. You failed and lost the elections, and now you parade yourself in cheap suits. You lost the election. Please do not lie to the public that you were going to remove President Museveni from power, that you failed. You continued to lie that your son goes to Kabuye University. Even there he failed. You cannot bring a failed student to mix with intelligent students. No, he failed. All he can do and accomplish is to do drugs. That's loud and clear. Do not distort schools, yet you failed to manage the elections. Now you parade yourself going to different universities and making speeches. What kind of cheap speeches are you making? You sexually drugged the mother of your son pregnant, and due to drugs, she gave birth to children with small eyes. Ask yourself, you have big eyes, but how come they have tiny eyes? Just like the Japanese people. Your son cannot school with intelligent students and cope with them or reason with them. Nothing he achieved in the IVYCOLLEGE. He has no education or any position of leadership at Kasubi University. He has never led in grades, nor put in any influence positions. No. Bobi Wine, you only trained your son to do drugs. His uncle's Nubian Lee does drugs. You personal friend, and your bodyguard Edie Mutwi does drugs. Your brother Taxi Vibe does drugs. Taxi Color does drugs. Your brother Kabuye does drugs too. Your entire family does drugs. Then you lie to the nation that your son was falsely accused at the university of doing drugs. You are a failed daddy in raising up children in a moral way, and a failed politician. The truth is, your son smokes drugs at the campus, and you are not going to undermine the universities for scolding your kid and thinking that we're just going to keep quiet. Hell no. Now dressed in cheap suits, given a microphone, making speeches with claims that your son was falsely accused, nonsense, and bogus. You waited until the university caught your son doing drugs, and you claim that someone injected it into his suitcase. Nonsense. Which Ugandan does not know that your fire-base headquarters is a base for doing drugs? Who doesn't know about drugs done in your National Unity Platform party? Who doesn't know the drug farm that you planted around your house? Everyone knows about drugs around you. Stop lying to the nation and defaming universities when your son is caught doing drugs, and expect us to keep quiet about the truth. You parade yourself in cheap suits, lying to the nation that you are going to remove President Museveni, and the white international community listens to you. Yet you are politically a failure. The truth is, your son smokes drugs. Your son does drugs. His uncle Nubian Lee taught him to do drugs. His uncle Edie Mutwi taught him drugs. Kabuye did the same. And lastly, you, Bobi Wine, taught your son to do drugs. The drugs are in your DNA. Then why do you embarrass yourself? You are a street cone man and a political failure. All you do is lie to the public. When are you going to remove President Museveni from power? When you heard about a sick politician, then you ran to him for a political camera shootout. What do you know about political education? If you were interested in becoming a good politician, you would have majored in CMDD. Bogus. Stop bringing up nonsensical stuff. You were seen parading yourself before parents' meetings, seeking sympathy. The fact is, your son does drugs. The son's name was left out for privacy. Isma emphasizes, I repeat myself, your son does drugs. He learned it from his uncle Nubia Lee, Edie Mutwi, and Kabuye. Can I mention all the drug addicts around you and your son? Don't you know that your family basics foundation is doing drugs? Drugs even penetrated your wife during intercourse, and she gave birth to children with small eyes, just like cow skin small holes. In English, such eyes are called small Japanese eyes. You fail to understand your family's drug issues, then you parade yourself in Ivy Universities protesting and just sit down in your cheap suits. You are a failed politician. People now know you as a project for President Museveni. Bobi Wine. There is no government you can remove from power. We told you so from the get-go. Do not lie to the public. Cheap talk and stupid. You bring a failed student in public. I myself got a grade A of 4 points. You can go to Matale School and ask. I received 4 points. But how can anyone be serious in school and get a grade F of 15 points plus? In this generation, how can any student get 15 points and then join the Ivy School with other intelligent kids? Take your kids to Majel Secondary School, as it is the only place for them. You have lied to the public that your son was defamed for doing drugs at the university. No, they never lied. It is true. How can they defame him? Yet Bobi Wine is doing drugs. It is your business. That is your business. Your entire business headquarters stuff all do drugs. Show us one who doesn't do drugs because all do. Some of your brothers sexually abuse ladies while recording in the studio. Just shut up, the entire family is a mess. You do not have any right to criticize the university. Yet your son failed. He failed. Your son does drugs and sells them at the university. He gets it from his uncle Nubian Lee, and you, yourself, Bobi Wine, you have weed drugs, farms. You are a failed politician. Even the white people failed to understand you. Now you have no more lies to deceive the public. Now you see the radio presenter interviewing him that they are victimizing my son. Your son should not be in that Ivy school besides in Majorly Secondary School. He is dense, Ichuli. Look at this dog, Bobby, yapping with threats against us because we have exposed your failed son. You bribed your son into Ivy University with failed grades. Why did you not apply for him in the Kanoni district, where your mother was a midwife? There, he will be seen as a hero. But now you parade yourself in cheap suit rooming around Kampala schools. Why don't you leave him there in your mother's district? Kisubi University has created graduates of importance, but your son is not among them. Bobi Wine. Stop lying and parading yourself before parents as a victim, claiming that drugs were planted into your son's suitcase. Yet you, Bobi Wine, you put it there because your son did not go to IVY University for studies. Still, to sell drugs, just like you gave to Taxi Vibe, Taxi Color, Nubia Lee, Edie Mutwi, and Kabuye. That is your combination. You cannot take your son to the Ivy University. What is he supposed to do there? Your son, name withheld. His eyes are so tiny, fall into the socket due to taking drugs, and he has big lips like those of Nubian Lee. You cannot understand who his daddy is. Then, after you criticize the universities, do you think Ichuli will keep quiet when you attack the Ivy universities? Hell no. Ivy Kisubi University is a prominent school. You cannot embarrass and challenge the dean, defaming him, who is victimizing your son. Is he the one who has educated him ever since? Take him to other schools. Take him to Ankole district, where your wife comes from, since his daddy is a veteran doctor. Let him teach your son how to inject a shot in the cow butt. Your son did not qualify to go to Kasubi University with failed grades. I, Isma, got a grade of A. What can your son say to me? Your son failed education-wise. He was selling drugs, he is selling drugs, and he uses drugs, and the drugs inflated into your wife during intercourse. That is why they have tiny eyes, small eyes like those of the Japanese. You ask yourself, why his kids have tiny eyes? Because they come from the womb due to Bobi Wine taking drugs. Bobi Wine, you consumed too many drugs, and your trademark in Uganda is overusing drugs. Listen to these people of his party, the National Unity Platform. Are you stupid? Because your party trains people to sell and do drugs, the likes of Zake. Get it, Bobi Wine. Your son was not supposed to be in the Ivy University. Tell his wife that Bobi Wine, during the intercourse, he had taken drugs, and then you gave birth to children with tiny eyes. This is Ichuli straight. More contributions of allegations by the public to the murder of Isma Oleksis. Isma Oleksis was shot dead by unidentified gunmen while returning home in Jjajja, Kampala on May 6, 2023. He was in the passenger seat of his vehicle, and the killers reportedly shot him multiple times at close range to confirm he was dead before escaping on a motorcycle. It is shocking that before the murder of Isma Oleksis, president of Uganda's bloggers, who was also a Muganda by tribe and worked in government intelligence and as a presidential advisor, he had revealed the identities of government undercover agents. David Louis Lubongoya, the General Secretary of Bobi Wine's National Unity Platform Party, and Major Benjamin Katana, the party's treasurer. The blogger accused Lubongoya of being a spy in Bobi Wine's party, secretly working for the government. In his own words, he said, "Your father, Mr. Goodman Lubongoya, was President Museveni's longtime animal doctor for the president's farm. He died in 1993, and President Museveni adopted you. The blogger tells the nation that you will thank me one day for exposing these two military intelligence officers hiding in Bobi Wine's political party." He goes on, "Mr. Lubongoya, tell the nation why you left President Museveni, who adopted you and sent you to Harvard University in America. Did President Museveni refuse to give you some cow liver or milk, so you lied about leaving him? Tell us, because both of you are government intelligence agents, and Bobi Wine is your puppet. Look at his sharp, long head. Right now, I am going to expose you and your family, and you will be surprised at how much I know. Go write letters to your uncles Kahura and Twim Wine, and ask for the release of innocent Ugandans suffering in prison, even though many of you set them up for the government. Look at this man, Lubongoya, a government agent who always dresses smartly with a tie. You and Benjamin Katana and your puppet, Bobi Wine. If you want to kill me, go ahead, just like you killed people at Busabala Beach, including the housemaid who worked in Bobi Wine's home, who went missing and is believed to be dead. You are among those who helped Bobi Wine and his wife Barbie with her disappearance. If you want to kill me, go ahead. I am not afraid of you. You are sending people to tell me to stop, because Benjamin Katana, a lawyer, might sue me. Tell that to your mother. I have seen lawyers before. I stress that Goodman Lubongoya, your father, was President Museveni's longtime farm doctor. If that is not true, come out and deny it. He died in 1993. Look at this intelligence agent saying he does not trust the Uganda courts because Judge Wine Doro works with President Museveni. How about you, the adopted son of President Museveni? Are you serious? President Museveni sent you to his own school near his farm. Look at Lubongoya, accusing the government of poisoning people, yet he is part of it, working for the government and poisoning people. We are going to expose you. You have caused the arrest of many parents' children who are now suffering in prison, but none of your children or your family's children are in prison. Look at Lubongoya. For me, Isma, I am a true child of Kampala, and we will not let you, a killer who has helped cause the deaths of our people, set them up for the government you work for as a cover agent. The evidence is clear that you, David Louis Lubongoya, used to teach the president's ideas at the university. You always moved with military generals, which is a known fact. Now they have put you in Bobi Wine's political party, which is mostly made up of Baganda people. How can the Baganda not see that the government has already taken over the party? Bobi Wine, you are wrong to let Lubongoya and Benjamin Katana take the top positions in the party. You have set up parents' children for the government, and now they are in prison. You do not know how determined I am. I am going to expose you. Bobi Wine and your government agents. You set up your party supporters for the government. Now they are in prison, and you are paid a lot of money and are building a real estate complex in Gayaza. Innocent children are in prison, but you have made money from them and built real estate projects. Bobi Wine and your government agents Lubongoya, you are heartless. You were seen enjoying a boat ride, smiling, while innocent children you set up for arrest are in prison. You are evil. By exposing these people, I am serving Ugandans. One day, you will remember that I told the truth, said the president of Uganda's Bloggers Association, who was murdered by a hired killer. Because of this, Ugandans have collected these allegations against people from Bobi Wine's party, his top leaders, and his opposition leader Joel Ssenyonyi, and a well-known bully and paid goon, his close friend Robert Mugisha, also known as Robert Kabuye Boston, all from the same party, who were in a serious conflict with Isma the blogger, around the time of his murder. As with any crime, the police urge the public to report anything suspicious that might help solve the case. As citizens of Ugandans have collected these allegations against the National Unity Platform Party, which had problems with the blogger before his murder, and we also ask Ugandans and the public to add to this video and share any information with the Uganda Police Criminal Investigation Department or the Chieftaincy of Military Intelligence, CMI. The president of Uganda Bloggers Association, Isma exposed Bobi Wine for using Ugandans as political pawns to enrich himself. Instead of fulfilling promises to supporters, Bobi Wine and his associates allegedly diverted public and government contributions to fund a lavish lifestyle, including an expensive weddings that shocked supporters. Isma was determined to expose Bobi Wine and his inner circle as fraudsters, which angered them.
wabula tebalibeerabira bantu mwenna bakulimu ddala kulimu mukoze ebintu ebiraga abavubuka nti mwali mubalimba enjala yebaluma ey'essente mwasala dda ddiiru zammwe n'ogenda ne bakusiba eruzira ekitali emyezi 6 nga tolina wadde akakuba amandaazi n'obiyaniri n'ojja n'okola embaga ya biliyoni abantu mubayita basiru mufumbira asiba wano ku magic parking buloka w'amayumba na butaka talina ofiisi yakoze embaga ya 6 mumuwala gwe yalina mu 2000 amazina y'emyaka aga anyenya alinga debe lya chupa za emputa za bia naye gwe yakozeemu embaga ya 6
mumazeemu abavubuka amaanyi okubalimba-limbanga mu nsi ya Museveni nti ebulidinga naye ng'amasuuti gammwe gatukula mapya gabbeeyi embaga ziggwa nga poliisi teziyingiridde wadde wabula omwagala okufunayo akasaala ne mufuna poliisi ne mugikubira temutuganya muba mutuukawo poliisi egobyewo aba opposition nga poliisi testopinga mbaga zino zibaako kuŋŋaana okuzina stroke dance zootalabangako balodi meya bamaama asimanyi bakyala ne beepyuda bannanga ate mweyerusiza mwaka guno bakazi bammwe beeyerusiza bonna abaali abaddugavu beeru bannanga abasajja abo ba mutima mubi mubeegendereze. You cannot doing people like that nti ensi ebulidinga n'olinnya ennyonyi nodda n'otwala kamireyo nodda n'ogenda ebweru nodda n'oteekayo ku biiki obuyumba bwa $150 kati baani ababuyingiramu? Omuntu ali mu struggle tasobola ssula mu kayumba $150 mulimu kwambala bukofiira bba byakeera kulanga bizinensi eno ekola mu nsi ki? Olunaku lumu mwali mugenda Emagerembu mugenda kwekalakasako Bobi Wine mujjukire bulungi waliwo olunaku Bobi Wine bamukwatireka n'ayita abantu bajje Emagere naye olunaku oba oddamu ka clip kakulaga nga maama Solomon agenda Kampala kukola nababuuza yali agenda kukola Congo ababayita mu demonstration nga yoli mukazi wa agenda kukola ebusaabala njagala nkusibe sente wendi wano wewabawo futu soja asobola okupangisa akayumba k'ebusaabala ka $150 tenti bazijja Amerika wonna wakyuka nze ayitayo ku mazzi mbeera ku lyato nga nnambulayo wetubalabula nti tuli ba mutima mubi. Embaga buli ssaawa mu struggle ez'ebbeeyi eziri splendasi mu nsi ebulidinga you cannot convince me niwemba muzungu abazungu si basiru bakola assessment musimanyi tuwase kitwetaagisa esente zivaawa muleeta abaana ne muba frontinga ne bakwata sky soldier ne bakwata gundi mwe tewali abakwatako. Which kind of memorandum of understanding mwina ne gavumenti? Bannange tujjukire Besigye teyabeerako bw'ati. Besigye nakati akulaga feesi ye nga ddala ya struggle naye bannange bano bo bakyusa bulamu bannange bakyusa bulamu ge mazima. The Joels, the Nyanzis, the Mickey Wines, the Nubian Liz, the Mufumbiros, the Nyekoderikis. Kati gwolichi avuma polisi novuma presidenti novuma kuba kumacha noyambala ebijozi gwolichi bali the Mufumbiros, the Joels, the Lubongoyazi, the Bobi Wines. Bali basiiwuufu bonna banyirira muswaga ate mwe banyiririra bali baddugavu bonna beeyerusa genda obalabe.
Beyond his well-known disputes with Uganda National Unity Platform Party executives, Bobi Wine, opposition leader in the parliament, Joel Ssenyonyi, the state intelligence agent Lubongoya, and Bobi Wine's personal friend, the infamous diaspora's notorious bully and goon, Robert Mugisha, also known as Kabuye Boston. Isma was fearless in exposing corruption. He brought to light alleged fraud and money laundering by executives at Uganda's Equity Bank, accusing them of illegally withdrawing funds from customer accounts to fund extravagant lifestyles and trips to Dubai. One customer reportedly lost her entire savings, while the bank allegedly deceived her and wished for her demise. Isma also called out the Uganda NSSF as a fraudulent institution, warning citizens that depositing money there was risky because, in his words, the management were thieves. We have compiled these serious allegations to urge the police to investigate and question those involved, hoping to uncover leads that could solve the brutal murder of Isma Olaxis. We also appeal to the public. If you have any additional evidence, please come forward. By sharing these videos, we aim to raise awareness and inspire the community to demand justice for the deceased and his family.
Yeri banke okuli abakulu abajjako sente z'abakirayanti. Equity Bank yeri banka omuli omuze naye kati nti ojjogerako balinamu obumundu. Wedda bantiisatiisa aye buli simu zinkubirwa va ku bintu bya Equity Bank va ku bintu bya Equity Bank naye nga mumanyi ndi mutabuliki newaayo lumu naye ku luno ndabika ŋŋenda naye kanjogere twala ssente mu Equity Bank nga on your own risk. Equity Bank eyina bannannyini baayo gyesonyiwe kubanga ne woonooloopawa tewali agenda bakwatako nga wenkugambye subterfuge eri munda. Waliwo omukazi waali bamuggyako ssente ze bamutambuza left right and center naye nga kati kyebabala booda emukoode naye nga ne booda nseetinge baagala yeetooloola abo bambi ng'omanyi ng'obanja ssente mu butanwa booda emubbe naye nga ne booda yaabwe kati Kampala giveeko erimu emizannyo togitegeera ate ng'oli omukazi bw'omulaba era ssaawa yonna booda emukuba kuba takyategeera bulungi yawunga baamukomya kati bamubalira ku ttayi bagamba ajja kuba asala ekkubo insteadly kati ne bwe bagenda mu basawo balaga nti abadde stress abadde tetegeera bulungi abadde asala ekkubo reckless okategedde. Totwala ssente zo mu NSSF nga toli mugagga nga toli munyankole weesonyiwe NSSF babbi tebalina kintu kyonna nzambe traveled person. NSSF cannot protect you in anything. It is a personal company. Babbi agabyago tegayina muna Uganda yenna gwe gagenda kuyamba. NSSF company y'abantu temutwalayo ssente zammwe bali babbi.
Our goal is to bring to light those who are allegedly suspected, according to circumstantial conflict evidence, of ordering the assassination of Isma Olaxes, believing the killers were merely carrying out someone else's deadly instructions. We leave that to the Uganda police to do their part to solve this cold murder of Isma Olaxes. We are appealing to the public and calling upon them, especially Ugandans, to contribute to solving the unsolved cold-blood murder of Isma Olaxes by sending in any suspicion and circumstantial evidence and leads and allegations that you suspect might have led to the cold murder of the president of Uganda Blogger Association, Isma Olaxes. Please send it to Uganda Criminal Investigation Intelligence Bureaus and let them digest it and help solve this brutal crime. Expose bullies against women advocates organizations, activists, advocates for women globally, and Uganda's social and economic justice. Is making its case globally. We engage to win, not as participants, but as a policy of our organization in pursuit of justice for all Ugandans. God bless Uganda and peace to you all.